Welcome to Mentors Intellectual Hub. Today again, we are in front of you with our program half an hour. And we have today with us a scholar, an emerging poet, an artist, and we can say an unsung hero. We have today with us Mr. Mushtaq Ahmed Bhatt. Welcome to Mentors Intellectual Hub.
Thanks a lot, sir, for giving me opportunity in the Mentors Intellectual Hub today.
Mushtaq sir, you have been associated with literature. We know that every subject, whether it is humanities, whether it is literature, whether it is bioscience or it is social science, all these subjects are having a general aim. That is, we can know to achieve knowledge, rather the bread and the butter aim. But beyond that, every subject is having a particular, a specific aim. So what about the specific aim of the literature? How, for what this
For what?
literature is meant? And also, please define what does literature mean?
You asked me a very nice question. So far as the literature is concerned, literature is any kind of written work, whether written or oral. But it is not just a written work and oral work for any small cause. It is that very written work which creates a sensation of pleasure in a reader. Sensation of pleasure.
Okay,
It is having an aesthetic sense.
okay,
And also it is one of the chief component of the literature is that it is creative in its nature.
creative in its nature.
Creative in its nature. It is not
Exactly.
just writing.
Okay,
It
okay.
is not just ordinary piece of writing. Literature can be spoken, literature can be oral, literature can be written. And we are having so different kinds of literature. For example, Urdu literature, Islamic literature, English literature. We are having scientific literature as well, medical science literature. Whatever is giving information regarding that.
So literature is a term which is applied to so many, we can say,
It is
branches.
multidimensional.
It is multidimensional.
Yeah,
Exactly,
definitely,
exactly.
multidimensional.
Multidimensional. It is not confined to what generally is seen. That is, we are talking
It is
about
not-
literature,
yeah,
and it is
yeah,
English
yeah,
literature.
Definitely.
But
It is not localized for English only.
what about intellectual development? We are saying that literature is one of the chief next for the intellectual development. How far is it true that it brings the intellectual development?
Of course, the literature brings in this development, personal development or intellectual development, because while going through the literature, a person gets a wide range of things in his brain. He gets into know
Okay.
different things of the life. It brings him close to the reality because almost all, whether there are different religions, whether it is scientific knowledge, it becomes rational. It tries to give reality in its actual colors.
In its
It
actual
doesn't want to give the shade in the colors. It is a literature which gives the real picture of a society, of a family, of any cultural background of any nation. It brings us closer to the reality, and it is the mirror of
what
the
it is called
society.
the mirror of the
It
society.
is called the mirror of the society.
Can you define what does this intellectual development in the common sense? What does it mean in intellectual development? Rather, I may say in the layman's sense, what does it mean intellectual development, and how literature brings this intellectual development?
Intellectual development refers to the cognitive or mental development in a persona of a human being, just. And preferably when we are talking about a person, a student who is having literature, it brings in him all the traits which are hidden or dormant in his persona, and it brings to the higher level where he can contribute through multiple ways to the society, to his own self as well. He is not just a fossilized animal or a fossilized object at that very time, because at different occasions we see that a person is having so many qualities, but they remain hidden. They remain, we may say, they are not mobilized at a higher level. It is a literature which touches the passions of a inner passions, inner soul of a person who goes through the literature and brings out all the dormant capacities which are lying hidden over the ages.
What is it? Which
Yeah,
are like
definitely.
hidden.
And finally, when his mental development begins, he begins to contribute to the whole society, to the whole humanity. And the chief aim, again here, which I would like to tell you, that the chief component of the literature is that it appreciates the universe. It appreciates the nature. That is the positivity which you can't find elsewhere.
Okay, that's the beauty of the literature.
Because sometimes we say that there are wonders of science.
Wonders
I
of
say it is wonders of literature.
Okay.
It is one of
Okay.
literature.
So you're talking about that this literature, we can say it brings what is hidden in a person. You are talking about his intellectual development. You are talking about that it is the real mirror of the life.
Yeah, definitely.
Do you think the students who are opting this as a subject are those who are associating with this subject, rather who are teaching this subject, rather we can say at the graduate, this university level,
Undergraduate
undergraduate
level.
are they aware about it?
So far as the student community is concerned regarding literature as a subject, some students are taking just as a kind of a combination, because in a certain college you are having a definite combination of subjects. There you take it as a subject, as a combination as well. The chief aim of the candidate here is not to go through the literature in a wider canvas. He goes through, I may say, in a single point of view, that he may get a combination, he may get a good marks in that very subject, and finally he will achieve masters in that very subject. But it is after you are going through the literature, the actual personality comes out. The actual literate person is born.
So, so can we say that they are not aware about the real aim of the literature?
Yeah,
And
definitely.
secondly, let me. What about those who are also teaching the literature as a subject? Are they themselves aware about that? Are they working in that direction?
God knows better whether they are aware regarding this thing. But I would, so far as my experience is concerned with the education department and different coaching institutes as well, I have seen that all the teachers, whether it is mathematics teacher or physical science or geography or Urdu teacher, he just brings it in a system.
In a
He
system.
brings it in a system that is syllabus.
Okay.
He wants to complete those novels, those drama, that very poet he has to read his biography as well. But the applicative part is missing.
The
What the
applicative.
literature will give you
Okay.
after coming out of this.
And we are very much eager to have that applicative part in the society.
Yeah, definitely. It is there where there is a wider gap between the subjects and between the society, because it is getting enlarged, this gap. There is a vacuum between the two. And I would like to suggest here that a teacher should appreciate. Initially, I have told you that this literature, one of the finest domain of the literature is that it appreciates the beauty of the nature.
Okay.
It appreciates the beauty, it appreciates the honesty, truth, morality, ethics, whatever comes into this domain. It is not the negative aspect.
It's,
One of
okay.
the chief components that it doesn't give the negativity. It
doesn't
gives
give
the
the
positivity.
negativity.
It gives the, because whenever we are talking about he is a smart guy, she's a beautiful girl, this is a beautiful garden, this is a beautiful house. What does this reveal? It is a beautiful uh, mountainous region. It is a beautiful lake. What does this actually give us? Are we getting any kind of monetary benefits out of this? Does it enlarge our economy? What does this actually give us? Why do we go to visit to the mountainous region? We go for picnics, we go for excursions. What is the real aim there? Something,
gives you some
something it
sort of
gives.
joy.
It touches something.
Exactly.
It touches your
the
mind
inner
and soul.
consciousness. It's mind and soul.
Basically, the patience, the actual patience of a person which remain unaddressed by the left all other subjects, whether it is mathematics, whether it is physics, chemistry, biology, etc. All are having good aims, but the real passions, the citrus level which we are accumulating over the passage of years while we are growing, whether we are students, whether we are businessmen, whatsoever, but none of the subjects addresses the passionate aim of an individual. It is the literature which touches the passions, inner passions of a candidate.
So you're talking about the inner consciousness. You're touching about the soul.
Yeah, definitely.
These things are directly missing in our society. Students who are opting the literature, they are not aware about it.
Yeah,
The
definitely.
teachers who are teaching it at any level, they are not aware about it. What should we do? What setup should we create? What setup should we undertake so
Definitely.
that the real aim is achieved? Because what seems from your all, we can say, you, this whole, it seems that literature provides a solution to the all ailments which
Yeah,
are prevalent
definitely.
in the society.
With
What
which,
setup?
with
What
which the
setup should we-
society is grappling with.
Exactly.
The
What
issues,
setup should we
the
take?
family issues, the personal issues, the religious issues we are having. It is the literature which gives it a wider color. It gives a wider chance. It touches the passions. It touches the inner person of an individual, which the other subjects don't do.
Now, what setup should we take
Now,
so
where-
that this real
yeah,
aim
yeah,
is achieved?
definitely. Number one, I would like to tell you that we haven't to teach the subject as a syllabus. As
Okay.
it should not be as a burden to the student,
Okay.
because what we visualize in our society, a student becomes bored when he reads a lot of novels, drama, mathematical calculations, exercises he has to done. He has to go through respiratory system. after all he goes through, it becomes a burden at the end if we really analyze it. Though sometimes they say we get a joy, but that is not true. The citrus level is ever increasing. The citrus level is ever increasing. We have to teach the literature as a burden, as a syllabus. We have to come out of this. We have to decode the syllabus.
Okay.
We have to highlight the man novels which one has read. For example, a teacher in any of the college or a higher secondary institution has read some of the novels, some dramas, and some poetry. He should also uh, share these things. Whatever he has found very sensible, whatever he has found very beautiful, he should at least share these things with the students, so that students will come to know what the literature is giving to an individual.
Exactly.
Because the teacher is already drowned in the literature.
Drowned in
He has come out of this stream of the literature, and now those students who are just at the bank of the stream, they will dive into this great ocean. But only when we attract them, when we tell them about the different things which the literature is giving.
Thank you, sir. We will talk.
I would also add here that
Okay.
majority of the students are not having they are not having palette form.
They are not having the
They are not having also palette form.
Now, how should those palette
some
forms
of the
be provided?
some of the students at undergraduate level, usually when they cross the teenage, they usually find mesmerizing these stanzas. They love to read Keats, to read Shakespeare.
Exactly.
Because if you, one of the chief component, again, I would like to share here that if a candidate is not understanding Keats, why? He is not understanding Allama Iqbal.
Okay.
But it itself, the stanza, this itself gives him a perfect joy. He feels that it gives me some sensations. I am feeling at ease while going through Mir Taqi Mir's poetry or something else. That means we should also get some palette form.
Okay,
And
you
there should be
have
some
you
occasions.
have pointed towards one of the, we can say, component of the literature, that's poetry.
Yeah, definitely.
Poets are considered as that these are the real architects of the society.
Of
They
course.
depict the miseries, everything, sorrows, happiness of the
definitely.
society, or the circumstances of the society within a stanza. Okay?
They reflect
They reflect
whatever
it.
is going on in
And-
the society.
And in this poetry, you have been an emerging poet right from your age. When you published your first poem, and then tell me how the passion of poetry developed.
Yeah, definitely. Very nice question you have asked me this time. After a long gap, I would like to go in my memory land this time. It was class 10th after qualifying at
Class 10th?
class 10th.
Really,
Yeah,
a wonder.
definitely. Because at that very time, after reading in a school for 12 years, right from your KG, I felt very much alienated at that very time.
Okay.
And it touched every sort of my body, soul, mind, because I was going to detach from the institution after a gap of 12 years.
Oh, oh.
And I recollected all the things. Just I would like to tell that Wordsworth's definition. It was just like the same. Though I got experience in class 10th, but what I read Wordsworth's definition, it was only in literature at that time. Because I recollected all those things which were going in an institution. For example, we used to go for picnics. We used to play volleyball. We used to play cricket. We used to have some classes, morning assemblies. We would also like to enjoy with friends during the recess periods. All these things were just haunting on me,
Okay.
and I don't. I never. My soul never wanted to miss those very memories.
Okay.
So I captured them.
Okay.
Uh,
That's nice.
why, and
That's nice.
And the title of that very poem was My Child.
My childhood. When you compiled this poem?
It was 2000.
2000. And you
2000.
at that time you were in class 10th.
I had qualified.
And then tell us about the career, this passion of this poetry developed in 10th. Then how this progressed.
Yeah, definitely. Though I was science subject, I was student at that very time in class 11th, 12th year my graduation. I did complete my BSc, etc. But I was having some inner feelings towards the poetry.
Okay.
Whenever I used to go through the poetry, whether it was Urdu, whether it was English, something else, it used to give me some kind of a solace.
Okay.
I was disinterested at that very time. And when I used to jot down my own lines regarding whatever inspired me in the nature, whether it was just a human being or something else, whether what sort of everything that inspired me, I used to jot down. And whenever I used to compose a poem, I felt very much relieved. I felt very much overjoyed at that very time.
And what about undergraduate level?
It
When
was
you was in the
perfect
college?
reality.
How many poems you compiled at that time?
It continued, it progressed from class 10th onwards, 11th, 12th. I have penned down one of the finest poem which has got published in different magazines as well. It was Queen of Dreams.
Queen of Dreams.
Yeah,
Queen of
definitely.
Dreams. Very nice. Queen of Dreams. When you published this poem, that is Queen of Dreams,
It was during 2003.
and you were at that time in the undergraduate level.
Yeah, I was
At the college.
Yeah, I was undergraduate level.
Anything, any stanza of this poem, that Queen of Dreams, and how the idea, the Queen of the Dreams came into your mind. What sort of, we can say thought, what sort of passion is depicted in this? Because the name itself reflects a lot.
You know very well that whenever a candidate qualifies to the examination after a hard labor, then he admits himself in the different colleges, whether it is professional college or academic college. There you come across with very varied things which which are very strange to you. You have never experienced those things as well. That gave me some sort of a new experience, and there was already in my mind and soul. It was already passionate. I was passionate regarding the poetry, and there I got another platform because there used to circulate one of the this magazine for the college, and I got an opportunity there. I had already compiled this very poem, but I would like to tell you one of the stanza. The thing that is so unique in the lab of my imagination, the
Okay.
thing that is so
Okay.
tender beyond the world of my expectation, which when moves in a strange manner gives an ideal heart a deep pulsation.
Oh, very nice. The beauty. How many poems you have so far compiled?
I have compiled 25 poems so
And
far.
are there any poems who have received any sort of national or international level?
Yeah,
Are they
there
published
are-
in any national or international journals, etc.?
yeah, definitely. We were having two poems which got international recognition. One of the poem was regarding complexion-based discrimination. because-
Complexion-based discrimination. Okay.
Yeah, second was regarding the traumas on widows.
Traumas and widows.
And I have the title of that very poem is A Visit to Widow's House.
A visit to widow's house.
That has got published in international anthologies.
International anthologies.
Yeah,
And
definitely.
what is this complexion on discrimination? Color discrimination.
Yeah, it's color discrimination.
Color discrimination.
Because
What was the thought underlining by depicting in this poem or compiling this poem?
complexion-based discrimination.
Complexion-based
Yeah,
discrimination.
definitely. It was what I have penned down regarding this complexion-based discrimination, because in societies you usually witness that we are having more concentration. People give more focus to the facial area of a person.
Exactly.
Whether it is matrimonial alliance, whether it is supports, whether it is games, whether even we are having private interviews. There you come across with various things that the person should have a good persona, he should be educated, but he should have a fair complexion.
Failure complexion.
Whether he knows something or not. But fair complexion, it becomes itself a sort of a discrimination there.
Exactly, it is
So
sort of
we penned down
discrimination.
the poem there, it was titled as No Discrimination.
No discrimination.
No discrimination.
So, whenever you are jotting down a poem or writing something, okay,
Yeah.
compiling some sentences, what sort of inner feeling you are getting after writing that compilation, after writing that sentence, after writing those words? What sort of, we can say, pleasure you are getting after writing those poems, writing those sentences, etc.?
Initially, when you posed a question regarding what is literature, there I replied you that literature is any kind of writing, but it's not ordinary kind of writing. It is the writing which gives you a pleasure, which appreciates. I am getting the same pleasure while writing my poetry. I am just you are creating something. For example, a person is constructing a home, a mosque, or something else. Whenever you are, for example, I have jotted down, I have compiled one of the poems, I visit to widow's house. It was a perfect and realistic picture of a widow through the conditions which she is going, and her what extra burden she has to take on her shoulders when her husband leaves the world.
Exactly.
There, one feels very much joyous that he has brought down on the horizon some those very things which are behind the curtain in the society,
Exactly.
where the light of the society never passes.
Exactly.
So, after compiling these very things, one gets elated, one gets very much tranquility, and he feels very much joyous at that very time that he has captured that very area which the others have neglected.
Exactly. Exactly.
And
So-
more specifically, we would say it is not contaminated, it is uncontaminated, unadulterated, it is the realistic picture,
That is the
which is the actual aim of literature.
actual aim of the literature. No.
Yeah, definitely.
So there are various students. There are various, we can say, students whether at the graduate, undergraduate level, etc., who are having the passion for this poetry.
Yeah.
But for the one reason or for the other reason,
They can't do
or
so.
they can't do so.
Yeah, definitely.
What sort of message you are going to
Very nice
have for
question.
those
Again, a very good
students?
question I would like to answer. the students or the people or the persons who are desirous or who have compiled various poetry. It is not only English poetry. It may be Kashmiri, it may be Urdu, Hindi, Persian, whatever it is. Basically, in our society, we are not appreciating those very things, which was the actual aim of the literature. The teachers, preferably the teachers, because it is a teacher who understands the conditions of a student. If a student he jots down, he compiles the poetry, a teacher should appreciate.
A teacher should
He
appreciate.
should first foremost thing is appreciation.
Appreciation.
He should
Exactly.
be given finest appreciation at that time, so that he will excel. Second thing is, we are not having so much exposure in our Jammu and Kashmir regarding these literary societies. In rest of the countries and in rest of the Indian states, we are having literary societies where anthologies
A
are
platform where there is a platform.
anthologies,
Yeah.
where each and every student or a person gets an opportunity to reflect his own inner feelings. And whenever they come in a printed form in a book, he becomes very elated. He becomes very joyous at that very time, and he tries to excel more in that very area.
Exactly.
Here, his potential remains dormant.
Now, what setup should now we take?
Yeah, definitely.
What sort of platform should we create so that at least their inner feelings are depicted, or they should get some sort of passion what that lies in their hearts?
I think more preferably this talent or this art comes out during graduation years or after class 11th or 12th as well. Here, during in those way institutions, whether it is college or higher secondary institutions, teachers should preferably they should devote some time for this poetry section as well. They should conduct such kind of workshops, such kind of seminars, where only poetry will be written, poetry will be spoken. More preferably, the poetry of the candidate's own poetry,
Own poetry.
not the often you might have seen that whenever we are having some occasions, annual day in our colleges, we usually
Seminars,
quote, we usually
symposiums.
quote Allama Iqbal, we usually quote Keats, Wordsworth, Shakespeare, Mir Taqi Mir, etc. But the actual creation of a candidate gets missing at that very time. It is the higher time that such occasions should be conducted, where each student who is desirous of this poetry, of this art, he should be given a good platform,
Exactly.
time, and also the audience should listen very eagerly what he is going to deliver at that very time.
That's
He should not be choked.
Exactly.
He's
You
getting
talked
choked.
about seminars, you talked about symposiums, etc. Whenever such, we can say, conditions are organized, we often quote poets like Allama Iqbal, like Mir Taqi Mir, like
Yeah,
Keats,
definitely.
Shakespeare, etc. Their verses,
Even
etc.
even these things are written on
Exactly.
different
Do you
boards.
think the real message of those poets or the real message of those verses or sentences, have they ever been felt in our real life?
I have felt in my real life.
No, I'm talking
You are
about
talking
general
general,
people.
general people.
And
I
talking
don't-
about the generality.
So far as a general,
Is it a formality?
I think whenever we are having some occasions or some symposiums or some conferences as well, there we usually quote. I think the utilitarian aim of this very thing is that it is to beautify the lecture. You are
Exactly.
beautifying the lecture only. But what the message, because I can't say, oh, whether it is Allama Iqbal, whether it is Mir Taqi Mir, whether it is Socrates, Plato, philosopher as well, or some other people who are having some art, they are contemporary. Their ideas are modernistic. They are socially relevant still to the modern age as well.
Exactly.
But
Exactly.
I don't think these things percolate down to the mass. It doesn't touch the inner feelings of a candidate. And those people which get sensitised by this poetry, they become naturally poets as well. The
Exactly.
leftover are the people who only spoke, who only highlight.
Okay. So their message, the real message, has not been percolated with
I
society.
don't think real message has percolated down to the
Then
masses.
what does it mean? Is it a formality code there versus that's it?
I think it is to beautify the language at that very time. I think it is to beautify the workshop at that very time.
Nothing else.
Not more than it is having such a, I may say, scope, which is
Okay.
missing.
Okay.
Although it is relevant, but
Although
we
it
are
is
not
relevant.
making it relevant.
We are not making it relevant. And what step should we take so that the message is percolated into the society for which it has for
Actual
it-
meant,
for
for which
that
it is
it has
actually
actually
actual
meant.
meant. Yeah, definitely. While going through the different poetic sections, whether it is Urdu, English, or Islamic, whatever it is, there I would like to tell that we have to analyze it. We have to analyze the poetry and bring forth what are the causes and effects it is going to produce in a society.
In a society.
If it is going to contribute, if it is going to end the violence, we should highlight those very things. We have to basically what it is not only the rhythm and lyric of a poetry. For example, I have compiled a poem, and there you see it is there is lyric, there is rhythm. It is not meant for that.
Exactly.
Actually, the poet is giving a message. He is banned in the society.
And he depicts the reality of the society.
His grief stricken whenever he sees
Exactly. He has not
whenever he
wrote
witnesses,
poetry for the seminars and
whenever,
symposiums, etc.
whenever it is not meant for these programs as well,
Programs,
because there are only educated persons. Whatever a person who is going to utter his poetry, who is going to read out his poetry, he is a great scholar.
Exactly.
And to whom he is addressing, they are also students, they are also qualified people.
Qualified
The
people.
poet depicts, highlights, expresses, reflects the actual problems with which the society is grappling. And those things, if it would have been the other methodology, he would tell each person of this universe that this is the problem.
Exactly.
Basically, he composes it in a verse, and there it's the message. We have to decode that very message.
We have to decode that. Right?
And
That is
we are
important.
failing. We are failing.
We are failing in
We are
decoding
failing
that
in decoding
important
message.
message. Very nice.
For example, here I would like to quote Sheikhul Alam, Anposh Tilil One Posh.
Exactly.
Because it is an environmental concern.
It is an
It is
environmental
not one and un. It is simply rhythm. People usually utter these words, these things whenever there is workshop. But actual meaning is there. Deforestation is creating a lot of problems for we people.
So he was at that time having an environmental sense.
He was
able
able-
to
yeah,
find
definitely.
sense at that time.
And he
that
captured
sense
that.
should be percolating into the society.
Actual, that's again we are taking. We have to decode, demystify the message.
Exactly. Sir, generally it has been said that poets and authors, these are the real enemies of the dictators. How far is this true?
So far as the history is
Is it a
testimony
myth or is
to
it,
the fact,
is it having any sort of a fact, a reality?
basically whenever if I'm talking about myself, if we are when reality comes into actual colors, we also are sometimes we feel very much angry at that very time. We again we tell that literature is the mirror of the society. What is mirror? For example, your hair is turning red and gray. It is the mirror which tells you.
Exactly.
It is not the common people. Common people will just they will just make a fun of this. But it is the mirror which tells you the actual. Whenever the
So
actual
are these the mirrors of the society, poets and authors?
yeah, definitely. It is a
But they depict the
poetry is mirror of the
Exactly.
society.
Exactly.
And whenever a poet highlights the violence in a society, wars of the society, whenever he highlights any kind of problem in the society, basically against those very things, there is some cause. This cause again a human being, and whenever he gets a message regarding this, he becomes very much angry regarding. And when he is a dictator, he will definitely
Exactly.
use his absolute powers.
Exactly. You're also writing columns. You're also writing some sort of, we can say, another dimension of this letter. How the art of writing columns, etc., developed, and presently, for what you are writing these columns? What's your chief concern whenever you are writing these columns?
Yeah, definitely. I think it is my moral responsibility being a teacher because whenever we are witnessing any kind of this problem in our society, whether it is social, whether it is emotional, whether it is economical, whether it is religious, whatever problems are there in our society, just when I am going to write down the causes, and it is not only I am going to highlight the problems of the society. A poet or an author or a writer, he should also try to give the solutions to the problem as well.
And what platforms you are presently using? You're writing these columns, etc.
I am the columnist of Brighter Kashmir. I am writing for Kashmiri Meets as well. And recently I was on a trekking expedition to Kausarna. There what I witnessed, that it is very much beautiful place and people should visit there as well. But while passing through this greenery, these forests, different spots, I witnessed that there has been a massive deforestation as well.
Exactly.
Because people are converting these plants, these pine trees into charcoal. They are debarking those very pine trees, which is creating a very much problem, havoc in the societies. And the time will not be so far when we will be having these deserted areas in our forests.
So
Must be forests.
you have been contributing the society through various dimensions, like writing columns, like in the sense that we can say form of poetry, like as a student, as a teacher of literature. What about, have you received some sort of appreciation, some sort of awards, etc.?
I think the chief appreciation of anything is that it is not the medals, it's not, it is the inner peace which you are
Exactly,
getting.
that's true. But also
Spiritual,
the
spiritual
recognition,
peace.
recognition is must.
Yeah, yeah, definitely. I I have contributed in different international these anthologies. One of the finest book which came, which was given a gold medal award at that very time by the Italian poet. Uh, it was complex and basic discrimination. It was traumas on widows. It was holistic healings of widows. And I am also contributing to international journal for which I have written uh, an elaborate expression of Allama Iqbal's the philosophy of Iqbal's Khudi as well. And there also I am contributing at a higher level because out of Jammu and Kashmir, or some people don't know who is Allama Iqbal. In higher dimensions, so that for when you are getting a higher pilot forms, you are getting national or international pilot forum. There you are getting adequate space to put forth your ideas. Those
Thank
very things, and for that very purpose, I have got Sahitya Kamal Award in Literature
Thank you.
in
Thanks a lot.
2018.
Thanks a lot. It was a pleasurable, memorable time with Mr. Mushtaq Ahmad Bhatt. Hope that our emerging poets, our emerging writers, our emerging columnists will take Mushtaq Sahab as a model and will contribute in the same sense and will percolate the real essence of the literature or the real essence of the poetry among the common masses. Wish you all the best. Good afternoon.
Thanks a lot. Thanks a lot.